Good morning, thugs. Apologies, I'm starting the live touching on myself because, of course, right before my countdown goes through, my eyeballs want to interrupt me. Anywho, welcome back to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. If you are somebody who is new here, welcome to my channel. It is a newer channel. I am trying to find creative ways to monetize without being like a telemarketer on the internet. I need money for this, I need money for that. No. Anywho, welcome to the channel. We are here to go over the finale of Love During Lockup. The episode was titled, Are You His Auntie? Is you girl? Was it the auntie? We are going to find out today. We're going to go through the episode for those who are new here. In the order of the couples that I saw, we're just going to discuss everything that happened with each couple throughout the episode at once and then move on to the next couple and then the next and then the next and then the next. Anywho, so the first couple, and if I look down, it's because I have notes. I don't need my brain being everywhere, so notes help me. Anywho, so with this episode, we started it with Jade and Chris. Jade is the lady who lives in Florida. She's got like a cute gothy look. I just wish that she would wear a foundation that makes her look less pale. I just feel like I have to say that before this ends. Anywho, so Jade and Chris are together. They have been together for a total of 6 years, and these two have been married for 5 out of those 6 years. So they got married fast, and they seem to still be working out. But honestly, with someone in jail, it's like, how would it not work out, I guess? Anywho, so Jade's at the beach, which, by the way, seeing her at the beach, I've never been to Florida. I'm a true California girl, born and raised in the Bay Area. Shout out to the Bay Area. But Florida, now I want to go because it looked like everybody was at the beach warm. The water looked calmer. You know, the water in California, they don't even have lifeguards at most of the beaches in the Bay Area. You got to go to like SoCal for that. So I'm like, look at this. It's just a lovely little beach, the perfect sunset. I like shit like that. I love the water. Check out some of my travel videos. Y'all see, I like the water. Anywho, so Chris calls Jade while she's at the beach, and basically she decides to bring up the prenup. As we saw in previous episodes, Jade and Chris haven't really been giving us much. At first, it was like, okay, they were kind of a good way to start the show. But I think overall, I didn't really care too much. Most of their problems seem to come from they're both seem bullheaded or whatever the hell. So I don't really feel like they have too many problems. It seems like she can't really argue as much as she wants to argue about things because whether your name's on shit or not, he's still got you living in a house in Florida. So I don't know. They're talking about this, and Jade basically wants to have a prenup. Well, she says since she doesn't have a prenup and nothing is in her name because she does not feel safe having nothing in her name, that she wants to consider getting a postnuptial agreement or something like that. Chris basically is against it. And this woman said, even if it's not a postnuptial agreement, a will. Why would you be against the will? Now, if you're against the prenup, I can see you being against the postnup because it's essentially the same thing. But to be against the will, don't you want to leave the people you love something? You ain't got no kids, Chris. So that's it. You've got Jade. Leave her something. I just don't like that. I feel like in order for relationships to be successful, you need to compromise. It doesn't mean that you're letting go of your dreams and, you know, the things that matter to you, but you have to be willing to compromise. It did not seem like he was willing to compromise. And she gave him lots of options for compromising. So, you know, basically Chris gets upset, feels like he's been giving an ultimatum. He continues to say, though, even though he's upset, it's our house. This is our home. Like, this is not just mine, which I kind of felt him on. But this is why these people on this show, no shade, are all dumb as hell in some way. They're incredibly, I can't even say naive because they have the expectations and 5 other fucking seasons of people going through these things and it not always working out in relation to people who are in jail together. So you can't, I just don't think it's smart to get with somebody who's locked up and then expect for things to go that way. But if they were free and he was like, it's our house, our home, y'all gonna get some of Mrs. Best and Mr. Best personal information. Shout out to Also Best. Yes, my name is on our lease because we rent, we don't buy, we ain't rich. But we've had cars throughout the years that have been in my name or just his name. The car we drive now is just in my spouse's name. I don't see an issue with that, but I've been with my spouse for 14 and a half years. So, and we did not establish our relationship in jail. So I feel like you can't build or won't ever have the trust that traditional relationships have with the relationships where they meet them the way that they do on this show, because you're always going to wonder of someone's motive. Anywho, he has threatened her, which Jade says that's why she's suddenly thinking of all these things. And basically, he doesn't want her to work. If you don't want this woman to work who had independence before you, y'all argue all the fucking time. Your relationship's based on a jail on television. Y'all, I mean, you have to give in, Chris. You have to do 50-50. But basically, it was a waste of our time to watch this because, you know, he's like, do you want a divorce? Are you interested in leaving? And she's like, yeah, I will divorce if I can't get this. And I'm just like, this is how you know the wrong people are married. If you're going to divorce someone because they won't put something into your name, when you have no reason to trust each other because you've never established a viable relationship while this person is free, you can't be mad at it. Now, when he gets free, and I say maybe after a year, things are still continuing to go well, he needs to throw your name on some shit. If you paying his bills, like the mortgage, we don't know who pays the mortgage on that home he bought. If Chris is paying the mortgage from jail and Jade's just sitting in there, Jade, shut the fuck up and put the cigarette out and just accept it. I mean, I don't know. It seems like women today, and it has nothing to do with generations. You could be born in 1990, 1970, or 2002. It seems like the climate and culture of dating today is like women feel like they just need to have like their way or the highway, and it doesn't work that way. It's a hot mess. So those two basically end up doing all that complaining on our TV screens for these, was it 8 episodes, something like that? It wasn't very long. Love During Lockup never is. But you all did all this bitching. WeTv presented to them, and I've been seeing the comments and feedback from people online, blogs, just little stuff like that across social media. And people have been like, oh, these couples really fucking sucked. I thought the season with Gabby and that boy who beat her up, God, I hate that she went through that. But I felt like Love During Lockup hasn't really given. A lot of it's felt fake, especially with that psycho Thai girl who had the vibrator that she called Umberto. You know, I don't know. Love During Lockup's kind of like this with the cast. I just don't feel like Jade and Chris need to be on the show. They did tell us at the end of it that Chris should get out. I believe it was 2033 or some shit like that. So it looks like she still has a ways to go, but they did all of that just to say they love each other. They're going to stay together and they're the one for you. I am a psychology major, y'all, and it is very easy to believe that or form a bond with someone, especially of the opposite sex or of the gender that you're attracted to. It's very easy to think and to fool yourself to believe that you're in love with someone, but y'all have to understand at the basis of love and science that it all comes down sometimes to chemical reactions and things like that. Like if you really, really love somebody, just saying, you're going to struggle to fall for them in jail. I don't know how I could fall in love with someone who can't like touch me or like look at me. You know, I don't get it, but Jade and Chris basically are going to still be together, and he got some more years in there. So I don't think we'll be seeing them on Love After Lockup, which, by the way, we will go over that at the end of the video. I will be covering Love After Lockup. I had 2 viewers. I'm not sure who you are, but shout out to you and thank you for subscribing. Hit me up to ask, are you going to do Love After Lockup? Are you going to cover it? Like, there's so many people covering it, but I will cover it, and hopefully somebody tunes in to watch it in my black ass. Anywho, so we're going to move on to the next couple, which was Andy and Brittany. Andy and Brittany are both kind of around the same age. Andy is a former police officer. He was a cop for over 13 years. The background on him, he had a wife. He has 3 children. We find out there's another child in this episode because I didn't know he had a son. And his wife, I guess his ex-wife left him while on drugs to go be with some other person who was also on drugs. Drugs are powerful and take it over. the country right now. So it's kind of sad to hear and kind of see how the opioid crisis and all of that really does impact people all over the country. Anywho, so Andy is now dating Brittany, who is an inmate. I just still find it weird that a cop went and searched for an inmate. It's very, very strange to me, but it is what it is. He speaks to Brittany and he's preparing to pick her up. We find out from the episode that Brittany will be getting out of jail the next day. Basically, we meet his son, Barry, who's 17. Very calm, cool, and collected 17-year-old, by the way. I was nuts at 17, but this kid is like mellow. I like that. I like that a lot. So basically, we find out that he's close to his son, Barry, which I thought was impactful because his daughters, mind you, they all have the same parents, the daughters, as well as this new son we met, Barry. But Barry is very close to his dad. So I'm wondering if it's like it was easier for him to bond with the son because he's a male, or, you know, maybe the daughters were more impacted and were closer to the mom. Whatever happened, I found that interesting that their son is like cool with him and they're close, but the daughters aren't, but they're all the same siblings. So I thought that was different. So we see Barry, who's his son, ask Andy, because he's prepping to put money into a teddy bear, the $1,200 we discussed on the previous episode. Andy's trying to get $1,200 cash. He's been saving from paychecks over a span of months or whatever, and he wants to give her $1,200. Now, I think that's a nice gesture, but it's an odd amount of money. Why not just say 1,000 or around that 12 to 15? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, everybody does different things. So he's trying to give her this money, and his son steps in and he's like, why are you giving her money? He's like, do you really think it's smart to give money to somebody who is a drug addict, like as soon as they get out? Because, I mean, she could just take it and run off to go buy whatever drugs she liked to buy. So the son has some intelligence. I find it funny on Love After Lockup as a franchise, Life After Lockup, Love After Lockup, Love During Lockup. The kids be so much smarter than their parents. And it gives me hope because there's a lot of fucking idiots having children. There's a lot of people who believe that because they have children that it makes them smarter or wiser or more respected. It doesn't. It really doesn't. God exists, y'all. And the reason I believe it is because people as dumb as him have kids that came out smart. The kids on Love During Lockup are so smart. All of them. All these people's kids that we've seen, specifically on this season, in my most personal opinions, have been smart, from Letitia's daughter to Gracie to Andy's children. They're smart. And I think, well, that's their saving grace, because they look stupid as hell going on TV saying they found love from somebody they've never physically met or touched. I'm also going to be a little shadow. If I don't know that the dick is good, if I don't know if I'm dating women that you can make my happy place come out in the form of in the bedrooms, then I'm not just about to be committing and doing all that stuff. Hell no. But everybody's different. Anywho, so back on track. Andy compares the drugs, then the drug addiction that Brittany has, to emotional eating. Because we've seen pictures of Andy. He's not the thinnest man, but he's not the largest man. It looked like when he was a cop, he was bigger. But Andy says that he emotionally eats, and he compares that to Brittany doing drugs. And my response to that, Andy, you are naive. And I'm concerned that you haven't learned from your wife, your ex-wife. It's unfortunate what happened with her being on drugs, but hey, I'm not saying don't date drug addicts. I actually have lots of friends and family members who have struggled with drugs that are serious. But at the same time, I think that we need to learn from the situations that we go through in life, and to go and date someone who tore up your family, impacted your children, to go and be with someone who reminds your kids of that. You're making your kids go through and live through that trauma again. I don't think that it's Andy's intention, but not smart. The other thing, y'all know I'm a psych major. I'm gonna be somebody counselor. I'm actually interested in addiction counseling. Why? Now, you can compare drug addiction and emotional eating because some people do lean on food as their addiction. There are many different things. However, drugs hit you in a whole different way than food will. You overeat for food emotionally, you might get high blood pressure, you might end up on 600-pound life. You might need a walker when you're at the grocery store or the little thing to ride around. But that's about it. You can go on a diet, you can seek help, you can go to therapy and be okay. And even if you don't go to therapy, your health may be impacted, but you'll probably have your finances in order, things like that. Drugs, people get on drugs and say, fuck their family, fuck themselves, fuck their life, fuck their job, fuck their couch, fuck their kids. And I'm not saying that to be funny or entertaining. It's genuinely what happens. So I thought it was a bit irresponsible of him to come on television as a former cop of 13 years and try to compare the two. Because I know that as a cop in the South, Andy, that you've seen a lot, and I mean a lot, of drugs. Because I know that that's one of the places that the opioid crisis and epidemic was impacting the most and quickly. West Virginia, Georgia, all those areas, tough, really tough. So I just thought that was irresponsible. Anywho, his son continues the conversation and he's like, so Dad, how much have you spent on Brittany? And we find out that Andy has spent $6,000 on Brittany. Now, I know for some people who ain't never watched Love After Lockup or Love During Lockup, that they're probably like, oh, hell no. I know for some people who are shallow and, financially okay or more than okay are probably like, that's not a lot of money. I'm going to need more, however the hell you view it. You shouldn't be spending $6,000 on no bitch you met in jail. Now, if you met her before she went to jail, like if my husband were to go to jail, my husband did go to jail a few years ago, but not for long or nothing serious. It was a DUI. But I'm not spending that to get you out. I'm just not. Like, you're going to have to sit there and learn your lesson so I know that you're not going to do it again and ask me for money. That's how I feel. So the son makes a joke that I thought was actually probably incredibly accurate. He's like, give me some. Why are you saving $6,000 to give to this woman when you have children that are young and still in need of things, and children who are probably getting their lives started earlier than they should because they don't have their mom? They feel like they don't have both parents. I just feel like Andy's parenting choices are questionable, but I don't think that he's like a bad guy or a bad parent. I just think that he was extremely hurt from what happened with his ex-wife. And he's trying to like get a redo, find love. I don't think he means any harm. I think he loves his children and is an okay father. I think at one point he was probably a good father, but divorce really does rip apart and impact families. And you see that with him and his children. So I feel for them all. So Barry, basically after finding out his dad has given her $6,000 and is prepping to put $1,200 into the belly of a teddy bear, instead of his belly, he calls his sisters, who we saw in earlier episodes. And I loved that. I love that he's still close and good with his siblings. My parents divorced, and my siblings, like the ones that were on my mom's side were on my mom's side. And then the people who were like me, who were just trying to ethically, see both of their parents, got like, I became the black sheep of the family, basically not trying to pick a side. So I do understand that divorce can be extremely impactful, but I was happy to see that the kids have some type of close relationship even through that. Basically, he calls their sister and they all agree that they think that Brittany will run off with his money. You don't teach your kids to think highly of inmates. You just don't. So that definitely shows, and how they react to her. And it's weird because he was a cop. So he loads up the car to go get Brittany. He's bringing Barry with him. And the reason that Barry is coming is because he believes that Barry's presence will make Gracie, who is Brittany's daughter, more comfortable. She is 18, Barry is 17. I thought that was thoughtful. But I want Andy to put that same thought and effort into his own children, not this child who keeps trying to run away from you because she's got, her own things that she needs to work out with her mom. I think that's irresponsible. Work it through first, but don't just put your relationship on your kids. Like, to me, that's weird, but it is what it is. Anywho, so basically Andy means well, and he wants and means well. And he sees Gracie And Gracie, even though last time she left and was awkward with Andy, I think any person with common sense could tell watching, she didn't have disrespect towards Andy. She just don't trust. It looks like Gracie is Brittany's oldest child. And the oldest child usually experiences the worst of their parents. The oldest and the youngest, in my opinion. So Gracie says she thinks that Andy's putting in an effort. And she basically seems to only have an issue with her mom. She's 18, so she has this like the attitude of an 18-year-old. She's just like over it. I don't blame her. When I turned 18, I was like, yay! And then I was like, oh, I have rent and all these bills. It just was not fun. So the episode ends basically with that. We don't see Brittany get out. We will see that next week on the premiere episode of Love After Lockup season 5. So we will see that next week. But what we do find out is that Andy and Brittany will be on Love After Lockup, which I'm curious to see because though Brittany's an inmate, I don't get bad vibes from her. Not yet, but we will see. We will see. My thing with Love After Lockup is all these inmates that get out of jail and be like, well, I need some money. I need a phone. I need this. No, the fuck you don't. You need to find a job, a therapist, so that you could get to the bottom of why the hell you made the things and choices you did to get you in jail. Because people struggle all the time. People pour all the time. Not everybody chooses to hit a lick or, you know what I'm saying, bust a move. So that's something that's important. So that's all we have for Andy and Brittany on this episode. And for the series, we will get to follow them and continue to follow them on Love After Lockup, which I will recap on Saturdays around the same time in the mornings between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. I always post things ahead of time. I actually already set up the live for those who want to get notified or be in the waiting room so that you don't miss it. Feel free to do that. I also encourage those who are watching the video, if you could, please like it. Thank you. You don't have to subscribe if you don't want to, but liking the video does help to put us into the algorithm so that YouTube knows that people like the content that we're putting out there. So I appreciate you if you do. The next couple we're going to go over is probably the most memorable from this season. It's Renika and Asante. I got to get my spirit together because every time I go over Renika and Asante, I got to watch my mouth. I got to do like my partner, James. Shout out to Watch Your Mouth Reviews. I do recaps with him during the week on shows like RHOA, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and a variation of other shows. Shout out to you, James, because I'm trying to watch my mouth, but I don't know if I will be able to. That's his logo. So we will see. Renika and Asante, I don't know where to begin. So first, we're going to say rest in peace to Asante because he did pass away in a car wreck. I had saw this on Facebook a while ago because Renika posted it, and then it ended up in the Love After Lockup Facebook group, and people were posting about it. So regardless of what we see, if you have a decent moral compass, you don't have to know someone to not wish death on them. I don't wish death on anyone. I don't wish anybody to have to experience death or to grieve a death. It's very difficult. I'm still grieving some deaths. I'm trying to tell you. But rest in peace to you, Asante, and to all of your loved ones. He also left behind a pregnant girlfriend who might be the woman we hear on the phone in the episode that we'll discuss. But regardless, that makes it even sadder because he is a child that will never get to meet him. So I hope that everybody who cares about him is able to find peace. And I encourage anybody who themselves is experiencing grief to look into grief counseling. They do have free groups that are all over the country. Just Google it and you'll be able to find it. I'll include a link to some in the description. So basically, we leave the last episode because Asante is supposed to get out of jail, but he got out of jail to go to another jail because he didn't know how to not commit crimes while in jail. So he ended up having to have Renika pay a bond. Renika said, I ain't got the money. I spent over $4,000 to move to Atlanta because I'm stupid and ignored the development and what's the well-being of my children because I wanted to chase a dick that I never saw. So Renika, I think of all the parents on this show, I hate to say it because she's one of my people, but she's an embarrassment to our people. Listen, she's also, in my opinion, a questionable parent, and I'm grateful that she has her mother and aunts and all the people around. if you move your child to another state because there are better job opportunities for you, let them get over it and readjust, because you got to take care of your child. If you move your child to another state because you are dating somebody who you have known outside in the free world for a couple of years, let's say 2 to 3 years, fine. You can't stop your life because your child's father sucks or mother sucks. I get that. But this woman moved her children. One of them is 14, one of them is 17, I believe. You moved your kids in their senior year of high school to another fucking state to be with a guy that you don't know. And you don't have a job yet, Renika, because you're constantly on camera. Who does that? Who does that? Irresponsible. Now, I know there's some people out there who do it, but that doesn't mean that they're smart to be doing what they're doing. That's all I'm going to say. That's stupid as fuck. Parents seem to think that because they have their kids and they have a love for their children that none of us will ever have for their kids, they think that that means that they know what's best or are what's best. And she is the example of someone who is not. This is not best for her kids. It's just very difficult. You don't know how it can impact them. Psychologically, it's fucked also. But I'm not going to give y'all no psych lesson. But what she's doing is not okay. So basically, we find out that Renika's going to call or get a call from Asante's auntie, his auntie, which is the title of the episode. Are you his auntie? Is you his auntie? So basically, we all knew, everybody would, like, literally all you need is 0.1% of somebody else's brain cell, and you could figure out that he had other bitches. Like Renika trying to act like Asante's the love of her life and all this stuff. I know that he's not. Like, think. The love of your life won't cause you to just be stupid. Like my husband, I love the shit out of him. I'm obsessed with him. But he gets me to like think before I react, to look at things. Like the love of your life should bring a calmness, if anything. Not this. Not this. So Asante gets released. And, you know, she talks to the lady before she's released. She's like, okay, I'm going to let you know as soon as he gets out. I'm sorry, you're his auntie? She's like, no, I'm his girlfriend. The fuck? So Asante gets released. And this was the weirdest interaction of a person between two people who, this was the weirdest release I've seen on the series, honestly, in my opinion. Like, it was just a very strange release. First of all, he can't get released because the cell phone she had, I don't know how Asante got that cell phone in there. These ratchet hoes. Yes, you do. I can guarantee you a bitch with a wig that's green with the lace not laid right and edges that look like sideburns. I can fucking promise you she understands how a release goes and how inmates get contraband. I can guarantee you she understands. I can guarantee it. And speaking of wigs, did y'all notice how the wig was lifting today? It just, you could tell whoever plucked it did a really bad job. What is with the Black community being against natural hair? Get into it. The hell? I got braids. I got colors. Occasionally I'll put on a weave or something, but listen, I look very African. People are like, are you from America? All the time. So I embrace my chocolate and my fucking kente cloth and my braids and all of that. And some of you heifers need to lean into your natural hair, because we've seen videos of Renika where she looked beautiful with her natural hair when talking to Asante. Now, maybe that man started cheating on you because of that wig. I believe it. I might believe it. Now, he gets out and Renika's like, oh my, bruh, what's up, bruh? Who talks to their dude like that? Like, I'll never understand that. I'm from deep East Oakland, California, y'all. If you know, you fucking know. I'm not calling my nigga bruh. Just because you come from a specific area and product doesn't mean you have to display and speak and behave like the most ignorant parts of that area and product that you may come from. My God, it's like Renika just seemed to work to every negative stereotype against African-American people. From the wigs to the behavior to the speak to the baby mama fucking effects. Ugh. I really wanted to like her watching this show. I really wanted to like Renika, and I just don't. I just don't. Cam, who was with Eris in a previous season of Love During Lockup, Love After Lockup, you know, I liked him enough. I do song reviews, had his music on my song review. He actually tuned in and participated. So shout out to you, Cam. Renika rap, she's a female. I want to support my people, but girl, from her treatment of her family to this, I just can't get into her. She made a fool of herself on TV. Like Monique did too, but Monique wasn't as bad. Like the call you'll do, bruh, and he looked at her and was slightly uncomfortable. Like that's how his partners address him. He been addressed as bruh probably the whole time he been in jail. Can you call him babe, hun, Sante, Juki? I heard that's his nickname. Can you call him something other than bruh? What's wrong with you hoes? And then y'all cry over why you can't find or keep one. Look at how you talk to him. Bruh. I hated that shit. It irked my soul, and it irked my dude's soul because he watched it. Anywho, so she's like, bruh, I'm horny. Jumps on him, gives him a hug, all this really stuff. And she makes a comment when he gets out to the confessional, when they show them by themselves commenting. And Renika's like, I dipped into my kids' college funds so that I could be with this man. Why? You can't get mad at what nobody says about your parenting, Miss Renika, after saying that on TV. I dipped into the ability for my children to get an education without debt so that I could see and sit on a dick that I've never seen before it's properly desanitized from jail. Disgusting. Just terrible excuse for a parent, in my opinion. Like, it's so much more that goes into it than just giving them food and water and good hair. I just hope her daughters are okay. Anywho, which I'm sure they will. They seem smart, but Renika's not smart. So basically, after telling us how she dipped into her college savings for children for a man that she does not know, she speaks to the auntie again, finds out it's not the auntie. And I was cracking up, y'all. Rest in peace to you, Asante, but we still have to discuss the episode and recap it. I have to give my opinion. I'm supposed to give y'all the best review, so I'm going to do it. What the hell was his mama thinking when she named her child La Citrus? Why is your child named after a type of fruit? A category of fruit. La Citrus. That's why he was in jail. How can you succeed with a name like La Citrus? My God. I see why he went by Asante. It was better. It was better. And Asante, even coming out of jail, he's a handsome young man, you know, but is he handsome enough to just say, fuck your family and dip into the savings that are meant for your daughters after you've already uprooted their life to a different, you know, state during a time that's important for kids to not be moving around so they can get into college? That's all I'm focused on. Can y'all tell? So basically, in the car when going, Renika's just rubbing his beard. And he looks uncomfortable. He's like, oh, man, stop. It's rough. It's rough. Like, my dude will tell me he don't like what's going on with his face, too. But if I'm rubbing or touching him, he's going to welcome it. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee it. So I thought that was weird. It just... his body language, you could tell he was nervous. Like, he got out of jail by any means necessary, but the nigga didn't, you know, he had to use both of his side bitches just in order to get there. Also best, hello spouse. I guess my spouse is watching. Shout out to you. He says, why is he making me read this? Sounds very hella dumb. Face blue smiling. Lord, yeah. Renika's... she's not smart. So I agree. So basically, Renika gets a phone call while driving Asante, I guess, home, wherever the fuck they're going. She gets a phone call from his auntie And when she answers the phone, he's like, huh? What the? She said, oh, it's your girlfriend. It's the girlfriend. Now, first of fucking all, if I find out before my man comes out of jail that he has a girlfriend, I would have walked in there as soon as I got off the phone with her and been like, I need my money order back. And kept the money and kept it moving because fuck you and fuck her. That's how I would have done it. But Renika shows us the true lack in self-confidence she has. Or, in my opinion, it seems like because she knows she looked crazy for moving her kids out there, she knows that she looks crazy just in general for being with this person. It seemed like she don't want to feel bad. So she don't say nothing. She's like, I'm not going to let that ruin our moment. But you did let it ruin your moment because it's going to upset you. I'm not built like that. Like, I'm a Gemini. Once you piss me off, it's up, nigga. I'm snapping. That's I'm working on it though, everyone. I am working on it. But if I catch my dude cheating in that way to where another bitch is calling me like I'm his girlfriend, like, listen, I've been cheated on before. I pulled up to that bitch when she was in the hospital. I don't give a fuck. You're not going to be calling my phone, talk about this and that. I understand you're not supposed to have the issue with the female, but at the same time, I'm getting somebody. I'm getting my look back somehow. I'm either going to whoop the bitch ass or I'm going to leave him and beat his ass. It's just how it goes. I think that's ethical, you know? But that's just me. I am a Gemini, so my thought process is fucked. But Renika basically wants to act like everything's cool and keep this moment to herself. And the lady calls because she want to know, you supposed to tell me if he in jail and you ain't never called me back. So Renika turns and she's like, put that shit on speaker. And Asante, like the good man that, you know, he was, he said no. He was just looking like, whoa, chill. But you got this person, like, regardless on how stupid she is, why would you let a woman move multiple states to you with 2 children, knowing that you have somebody else? That's a different type of fuckery. That's a different type of fuckery and sorcery. Because Asante, may his soul rest in peace, but that was wrong. It's already bad to cheat, but it was expected of him with his situation, so I can't fully fault him, especially if the girl I'm dealing with goes from this pretty cute ponytail and bare face to bat wings for eyelashes and a green wig that reminds people of a green onion upside down. You know, I definitely could have understood some form of cheating with him, but to do it with her kids involved, I feel like even if you don't know someone's kids, you should have the love and respect for them being an innocent child to try not to impact them. Like, it's people I don't talk to no more who got kids. I would never bring up their kid. I ain't bringing up your parenting. I really don't give a fuck. I don't like bringing children into discussions, issues, or, you know, big decisions like that. So it's wild to me that this happened. So after all of that, she claimed that she's not going to, you know, let stuff get to her. But, you know, she ends up crying. She's happy. And did y'all peep? She was like, I've been craving him. So, you know, how do you crave somebody you never met? Now, if you met this man before he went to jail and he was gone and then, you know, you start to crave him, fine. Sometimes when my husband's at work, I be craving his man part. But, you know, that's because I've seen him in person. I don't understand how you crave somebody you don't know. But that's what Renika said. And then she kept referring to him as a jailbird. I'm like, so first you call him bruh. And now you're like, jailbird. Well, that's what you is because you always go back to jail. I'm like, he doesn't feel good about that. Nobody wants to go to jail. So Renika, in your next relationship, because I know that she's single, even though we will see Renika and Asante on the next season of Love After Lockup, season 5, we also know that they were not together even prior to Asante passing away. They were not together. So if you're going to find love, Renika, I know you probably don't like Mrs. Best because, listen, I have a job to do. I'm supposed to review stuff. I'm giving my honest opinion in the way that I would if I was talking to one of my partners. Like, it is what it is. I don't know you, Renika. I don't have hate towards you. I think you're a beautiful woman who just has a bad wig. And I think that you should seriously consider seeing a psychotherapist so that you can work through that childhood trauma. Because let's remember, since this is the finale episode, earlier, I believe it was the first episode, she met with her daddy, who obviously feels very bad for going to jail throughout her childhood. She is the child who repeats the cycle, is what I see. And I think it's important that she looks into that. She's got a business, so she's got some type of brains. She works. She supported her children alone and was able to make a life for herself in Kentucky. Take your Black ass back to Kentucky, Renika. Take your kids and y'all just start over with the support and love from family. And the next man that you date, try terms like babe, boo, daddy, zaddy, honey, sweetheart. I don't know. Don't call your dude bruh. If I call Mr. Best bruh, like if I be like, hey, hey bruh, he'll probably come on this camera and be like, she's lost her marbles. Like, no. Like, a lot of y'all want to be, find the love of your lives and be wives and have joy, but aren't willing to hear, feedback or the things from your spouse that they're looking for, woman or man. So I encourage everyone in relationships to open your ears and shut the fuck up here and there. So we will follow Renika and Asante on the upcoming season of Love During Lockup, which I will be recapping next Saturday at this same time. We're going to move on to the next couple. They were very entertaining, though. Renika and Asante, she definitely gave us a lot of content for television. The only things were the wig, her 2014 Chevy Equinox that has dents and is beat up and missing windows. She's got to figure all of that out. The car is a safety hazard, y'all. I'm not even being funny. Girl, go get you a 1997 Toyota Camry. They run forever. I'm just saying. So Brittany and Karak are the next couple that, no, they're not. I read my own notes wrong. Apologies for my fuck up. Letitia and Keith. This will be fast. We didn't get much from them. So Letitia, the hot financial mess that she is, she's financially irresponsible. It's just what it is. There's no reason to have that many evictions. Why stop paying your rent? And then she's trying to clear everything up online. Like, see, I reached out. You reaching out doesn't change the fact that you just decided to not pay rent. When you sign a document to occupy a space, you agree to pay that rent. Why would you even apply for something if you know you're not going to pay for it? Because she's had a couple of evictions. So, anywho, that's that. So Letitia's dumbass feels like someone snitched on her about her ring. This is someone else. It's always those women who use the term, my husband, my husband, my husband, my husband. I wish I had the time to edit a video, a compilation, so that we could count how many times this wench talked about her husband, who she had to pry to say he loved her. So Letitia says somebody snitched on her about the ring that she should have never bought. And let me tell you this, Letitia Collier, or whatever the hell her last name is, a wife, not even a wife, a girlfriend. If you live with somebody, you shouldn't just be spending money like that. Like if he tell you not to spend $15,000 and gives you a budget, you could have worked within that budget. And then you got a ring that didn't even look like it was worth $15,000. The ring did not look like all of that. I'm keeping it real, y'all. I'm a huge housewife fan. I done seen them buy rings and handbags for $15,000 that look better than Letitia's ring. Listen, I'm just saying, if I'm going to fight my spouse and put my marriage at risk over $15,000, I need the ring to be like bigger, like much bigger. She's like, no one takes our marriage seriously because they don't see a ring. Letitia, are you slow? No one takes your marriage seriously because you met him in jail. And if the internet was able to find out about you getting evictions and constantly moving, I'm sure the people trying to do business with your business or who know you around your town, because y'all in these little ass states and stuff, I'm sure they know as well that you're something else. People don't respect your marriage or take it seriously because you continue to say, my husband, because you try to have an inmate run a tax program. Really finding out some of Letitia's past, she's lucky to be running that tax program. I'm not trusting my social with nobody that's been to jail. I don't give a fuck. And I've been to jail, but I wouldn't trust anybody who's been to jail with my social security number. Hell no. So Basically, we find out Aunt Marcia, who's Keith's aunt, who's around, who was handling all the income and things like that before Letitia came along. She's handling the finances, and she is the one who told Keith about the ring because she's on their accounts, including their joint accounts, and she saw that she spent the money, and Keith told her what the budget was. Why would you not say anything? Letitia tries to say that she would have told Keith about the ring, but Letitia, a true wife, would have waited. Letitia is one of those women who wants the ring, but doesn't want to do what comes with that, which is compromise, loyalty, listening to your husband, representing him well when you go out in public. All these different things. She don't like to do any of that. We've seen Letitia go out in public literally damn near wearing a 2-piece bathing suit to a bar somewhere in Iowa. Because I believe she's in Davenport, Iowa, or somewhere weird like that. I'm like, girl, I know it's too cold for that. Now, if you was in Florida or California, hell, even Texas, I could understand it. But why are you going out with your titties all out and all of this if your man can't see it? Because if I go out looking all that good, unless I'm with girlfriends or something on a fun night, no, it just doesn't make sense. So anywho, Letitia kind of bored me, if I'm being entirely honest. Her situation with Keith was only interesting in the beginning with the stuff with the office worker. I truly believe, now that I've watched the whole season, I wait to give my opinion on the people. I truly believe that Keith done slept with a lot of the women that Letitia knows or has dealt with, because they all from the same area. He's in jail. It happens in small towns. So... And it doesn't seem like Letitia has the brain span or brain width, whatever the fuck the term is, to understand that that's not okay. Anywho, I stand by what I said. A true wife would not have done that, Letitia. If your husband spends $15,000 of your money, Letitia, are you going to just forgive it because it was important to him? No, you're not. You bitches be having double standards. And then you make me defend these shitty men. Stop. I cannot. So that's all we get from them. They were kind of a snooze fest. Her financial situation is a mess. So maybe Love After Lockup will keep her on the show, because Keith will not be released until 2025. So that's about 2 years from now. There's a lot of love during lockup seasons. We saw Ty and her multiple inmates on a couple of seasons, so I don't see why they can't let Letitia be on there. Letitia's shallow and vain and probably won't have success in her marriage because she's too concerned about looking like she has the right things versus having her shit together, which shows in her finances. But she wants to do good and is not as crazy as Ty. And her storyline's actually believable because they are married, unlike Ty, who just talking to niggas in jail. So I'm sure we'll see Letitia back, but she will not be on Love After Lockup because her spouse is still locked up, and the nigga will be until 2025. So that's what that is. So we're going to move on to our next couple, which is Brittany and Karak. And just so everyone knows, Saturdays are generally 30-minute recaps unless a finale episode happens. And this is a finale, so we're probably going to be here for another couple of minutes. So just letting everyone know who's watching the live replay or anything like that. Brittany and Karak, their youngest couple, 23 and 25, babies. They don't know much yet, just in life in general. Basically, Brittany is upset because Karak's scary looking friend EB with the 3 dreadlocks has been stalking her, literally following her everywhere that she goes to give intel on Karak. EB, what do you do? I know you're not twisting them 4 dreadlocks, so I know you have some time. What do you do? Because I'm that friend where if my friend called me and she's like, I think this nigga cheating, I'm going to pull up on him with you. I'll slice his tire with you. I am that friend. I give no fucks. But I have school and job and life. I'm not going to just be following somebody around every day. That's weird. And then, unlike the rest of y'all, I live in California, okay? And my car takes 91 gas, okay? That means I'm spending basically $6 a gallon on gas still to this day, okay? I do not have the gas to spare to just be following people around who I don't fuck. That's how I feel. If you're not trying to get some money, or if you were not dating them to find out some shit, why are you following her? That's an violation. I've been seeing people on Instagram, a Love After Lockup's page, like she needs to file a restraining order. That's not okay. And Karak, she asked Karak if Evie's stalking her because Brittany's not stupid. She know he probably asked her to do that. And, you know, she tells Karak, she gets to a point, and I kind of respected Brittany for this. She was like, look, either we trust each other or we don't. You can have EB out here doing all that shit, but I'm not going to be following you and doing all this shit. I'm not even going to ask Carla no more. And I was like, good for you, Brittany. Good for you. Because Karak ain't cute. Sorry, saying it. Not cute. Karak is manipulative. Karak is disrespectful. Karak has unrealistic expectations, and Karak does not have a relationship that he views days as 50-50. And I'm sorry, I have to say it because I know it's a sensitive topic for those who are transitioning. When transitioning to be a woman, if you're a man, they try to take on what they see women do, obviously, not just appearance, but like behaviors, speaking, things like that, and vice versa when a woman transitions to want to become a dude. Karak, just because you take testosterone and lift weights and think that a man leads a relationship doesn't mean that that's what someone's going to be okay with just because you're transitioning. In fact, I know a lot of people who are part of the LGBTQ community who, you know, they're in relationships, and it's not always a man who's the lead, but LGBTQ is something that they're still working to get people of the world to accept. It may seem like most of everybody's okay, but I view the LGBTQ issue to be similar to racism. The people who are homophobes and things like that, they just learn to be quiet versus kind of like racist people be quiet until they're like poked. So I don't know. Karat, just because you're trying to transition to a man does not mean you automatically get to lead a relationship. A man is defined, in my opinion, by somebody who has integrity, honesty, works hard, tells the truth, and treats their wife or spouse or whoever they're with in a way that's gentle, because men are rougher than us. Like, I don't know what Karak thinks he's doing controlling this girl, but I actually worry for Brittany. So Karak bullshits, and then we see in another scene that Brittany went to get IVF at a consult. And by the way, we're going to see Brittany and Karak in Love After Lockup, and I want to see Karak check his friend, because ain't no way in hell any of my husband's friends is going to talk to me like they crazy or be following me around or questioning me about my loyalty. No, stay the fuck away from me and mind your own fucking business. There's always the people with worse situations that got something to say. So she goes to get IVF because it's important to her to have a baby. I don't think it's responsible for her to do it. Personally, I do feel like 23 is too young to have a child. I do. I know people do it all the time with great success, but those people have not been in jail for most of their teens. Brittany went down young and was in there for a while. She was setting people up, trying to be with the shit. Like, I don't think she's ready to have a child. I think she should at least wait till she finishes school before she does that. The other thing is IVF is extremely expensive. Now, Karak is a female who is transitioned to male. So please don't come at me like, oh, you're being shady toward the community. I am not. If y'all want to fight science, go fucking call Albert Einstein, or wait till you pass on and you ask the man upstairs why you gave me a vagina when I wanted a penis. But please do not come at me. I am just stating what Brittany also stated, in that I'm not trying to be attacked by a community because they don't like when someone disagrees with them. And sometimes it's not always that people are being disrespectful to LGBTQ. It seems like they just get upset at opposing opinions. And that's not okay either. But she goes to IVF consult because Karak was born a female who is transitioning. And the reason she has to go to IVF is because two females cannot come together to have a baby. It's impossible scientifically. Y'all can want to ignore it. You can feel how you want to feel, but it's impossible. Now, the way that it is possible is because science is fucking epic, and they have found ways to do this. So IVF means that it's where you see them put the needle in there, you take drugs, all that type of stuff. And basically what happens is they try to get you to ovulate, and then they go and they do what's called an egg retrieval. And when they do that egg retrieval, Brittany is interested in having Karak go through the IVF because she wants to carry his eggs. Okay, so I can understand that. She wants to carry his eggs so that they can both feel like the child belongs to them, which I can understand. I can definitely understand that. So she's talking in the consult, and we find out that she only has one fallopian tube, which does make it harder to have a baby, but like in terms of conceiving, but it doesn't make it harder to carry because, as the doctor stated, you carry in your uterus, not your tubes. So the only reason I'm a trained nurse, y'all, that's why I know these things. They also explained it on the show. So basically, the doctor lets Karak know, because he calls in there, that he's going to have to come off of the testosterone medication. And if Karak comes off of the testosterone medication, he would develop breast again. The deepness in his voice that helps him to sound like a man would go away. And he would basically go backwards to look and be the female he was born as. Karak is against it. He was open to seeing if he could have a baby. I thought they would be able to also, because you see on the news and all the time, trans man gives birth, you know, and you're like, huh? But I never think about the fact that, like, oh, you have to get off of those meds and basically go back to being a female to have this baby. You know what I'm saying? So I never thought of that. I just didn't. So I learned something new, and I appreciate learning new things. So Karak is not willing to do that. And so basically they could do the same process with Brittany, but she gets emotional. She really wants to have a baby. And they tell her she can do it with her egg, but she's like, you know, I want you to feel like it's your child. And it's the one time I'll say something good about Karak, because he was actually like sensitive to her feelings, and he seemed to be emotionally available to her in that moment. He was like, I'll love a child, whatever. We could adopt and I'd love a child. And I love that, because IVF is so expensive and adoption can be less expensive. The only concern for me with them with adoption is, do they approve adoptions for parents who have these crazy felonious records? Because they're both felons. So I'm like, would you be able to get approved for an adoption? I don't know how that would work. Basically, Brittany breaks down. And I want to say also, I understand Karak not wanting to go through that process of getting off of the testosterone, because if you were so uncomfortable with being a natural born female that it did not align with anything that could help you to be mentally happy and healthy, and I think happiness mentally is a part of mental health, then I don't blame them for wanting to go backwards. I don't know how long it takes for, you know, the transition process, but I know it takes years. So I don't blame Karak for not wanting to go backwards on that. I can't blame them. I just don't. They have other options because Brittany can do it, but, you know, I get it. I do get it. But I will say, I think that this is why it's important for those who are a part of the trans community. If you're someone who is like Karak, who was born a woman who wants to be a man, and you're in transition, it's important that you're honest with the people you're dating so that they know. Because in my opinion, Brittany, when you get with someone who's transgender, I think that children is something that you should think about. It definitely is, because to get those children may be possible, but not everybody who's transitioned, not everybody who is a part of the LGBTQ community can afford to pay for IVF. The IVF is expensive. I did it years ago with my husband, and I stopped because I was like, this is invasive on my body. It was too much. You constantly poked, constantly spreading legs, I said it's too much. So I couldn't do it. It's also expensive. It was like $7,000 just over 2 months. So I was like, no, we had good insurance that covered a good chunk of it, and we still had to pay something. So I understand the difficulty. I do wish them well on their journey. I do think, though, it's best for them because of how they got together and the things we know about the relationship, like the lack of trust and EB following them around. You don't need a kid around, because if Karak can't respect you as an individual to have his friend mind his fucking business, then that means that his friend will feel like they have access and an opinion to your child. And that's a big thing. We need to think more before we have children. Everybody does. We got to really think about that. So we'll see them on Love After Lockup. And I wish them I wish them the best. I really do wish them the best. I just wish them the best because that's a tough situation. You can't expect Karak to negotiate his transition. That's a big thing, you know. But at the same time, Brittany wants this child so bad. And I feel like it's because of her parents. So listen, your parents still love you, Brittany, but they didn't expect you to be running around trying to be hood, setting people up and robbing folk. They didn't expect that. So who's to say that won't happen with your child? So I think just wait, finish school, let Karak get out and see how things goes. But this episode did make me look at Karak in a positive light because I think that's important. If there's negative with the spouse, they have to be able to support you where it counts. And in this situation, I think that Karak supported Brittany where it counted. So we're going to move on to the last couple of the season. The most psychotic people I've seen on television. Psychotic ass Savannah. She's a psychopath. I really think that Savannah needs a psychological evaluation immediately. And WeTv, I love y'all as a network, but I strongly encourage you to have therapists and psych people on set. Savannah, in my opinion, is a danger to the community. The bitch is crazy. She's crazy. I don't have anything good to say. I'm just warning everybody now. Mrs. Best can sometimes be mean and it might come out. Bitch is crazy. She doesn't understand boundaries. She does not listen. And she has no respect for what this man wants. She is all over the place. She scares me. She scares me. She does. Now, Savannah drives to the prison like a fool, looking a hot mess. Who told her that was a wedding dress? In the last episode, I was like, every dress was ugly as shit that she chose. Like, not going to say ugly, but on a younger girl like her, I believe she's 27. Why are you picking these wedding dresses that my 84-year-old Nana would wear? What is going on? And my Nana would kill the game in it too. But Savannah didn't. Let me try. I'm watching my words. I'm trying to watch my mouth. In the words of James, I'm trying to watch my mouth, y'all. But I don't know. So basically, Savannah drives to the prison in a dress like a psychopath with a veil. My note literally says she is not mentally well. She's driving through the rain in a white dress. She says, why not just try to marry him? Even though he said no, why not try? If someone says they do not want to marry you, then they don't want to marry you. That's the only way I can explain that, y'all, because I really do have a filthy fucking mouth, and I'm not trying to get, striked or something by YouTube. I am not trying to deal with that, but my mouth could potentially get me fucking striked. But I just didn't understand it. He told you no. He says he does not want to be married. He also explained to you that he's been in jail. Jake has been in prison since he was 19. She doesn't know the full reasons why. The family won't talk to her. She doesn't know what's going on. She still thinks it's smart to marry him. So as a whole, women like this, we need to do better. If someone tells you that they don't want you, believe them. Believe them. Believe them. I remember being younger, just talking about because I got with my husband I was 16. But I remember when we were older, when he turned 21 and stuff, and we would be like, oh, what if we get married if we last together? He's like, I ain't got no problem with that. It was ready. I actually am the one that didn't want a wedding and was like, fuck it. We'll just be together. And he wanted to get married. So that's, if someone wants to be with you, they're going to do it. There's not going to be questions. There's not going to be, fights. It's just going to be what it is. They're going to be dumb like Renika and probably move their whole family and colony to wherever the fuck their new spouse is. It's just what happens. This man does not want you, Savannah. He may like you, and I think he does value her, but I don't think he wants to marry her. And I actually appreciated and respected Jake for being honest. He said, look, I've been here since I was 19. I want to experience other women. I want to fuck other broads. I'm not mad at you. He's 29, 30 now, and he's been in jail since he's 19. He's in a small town, so there probably wasn't a lot of available vagina for him. at least he was honest with her and her family about it. She's the example of be careful who you meet on the internet. She's the example of people who go searching for people in jail are not right themselves and might need to be there. So basically, she brings paperwork. I guess she was trying to marry him by proxy if she was bringing paperwork to walk into, the jail. And we find out that he said no, as he should. But she was weird. She was like, he said no, but we had a great visit afterward. How do you have a great visit with someone after they tell you they don't want you as their end all be all? Like, oh, I told you I'm not going to marry you, bitch, but okay, well, how was your day? The fuck am I watching? When these things happen, I wonder what's going on. That's the truth. So it was just weird. She says they had a great visit. We see her throw the flowers out of the car, which I think the producers instructed her to do. He calls her while she's driving, and he says that what she did was extremely meaningful. Why couldn't you say that in person? Did you tell her it was meaningful in person, or did you know that she was filming and you just didn't want to look bad? Jake, you don't look bad in any way, aside from why you went to jail. I'm curious. But you don't look bad in any way. He was honest with the woman. And this is the thing. Women ask for honesty from men to know what they want and how things are going. And then they get it and they fucking ignore what the man said. He told you he didn't want you, heifer. So find that confidence you had in episode 1 where you were like, I've cheated on everybody I've ever been with. I can have whatever guy I want. Find that confidence and leave. Or at least date other people and maintain a friendship with them. I don't know. But you're not going to marry him, sis. You're not. You're just not going to fucking marry him. You're not. He also will not be getting out of jail for another 5 years. So that was this season of Love During Lockup. I thought it was okay. It definitely, Love During Lockup is newer. We've gotten a couple seasons of Life After Lockup. We've Love After Lockup, the OG, triple OG. You feel me? They're dope. But I don't know. I feel like as the show's gotten bigger, as someone who's watched since season 1, when it was a social experiment, I just really feel like they need to do a better job with casting and be careful. I think there's a lot of people watching this show this is gold. This is addicting. I can't stop eating popcorn watching it. And they're like, oh, this is entertaining. I got someone I'm dating in jail. I know somebody in jail. I know, I'm going to go talk to this man in jail and get me on TV and get my career started. We're seeing this trend with reality TV in general across multiple networks. People are faking shit just to be on TV, thinking it'll take them somewhere, like Renika. I'm wondering if she did this and made herself look so stupid so that she could get her music out there. But no one cares about your music when you have that wig on. So that's my recap, y'all. We will be back next Saturday as well to do Love After Lockup Season 5, Episode 1 recap. I'm excited. We will get to see quite a few couples from this season on the Love After Lockup season, which I will recap every Saturday. I also have an upcoming lecture of philosophy and psychology. We're going to be discussing the psychophilosophy behind why we choose to watch what we want to watch on TV. I am going to be doing, I guess it's a video podcast because we'll be on video, but we're just going to be discussing things. I have a panel, Be Money, Be Manifested, who is a rapper who's extremely talented. She also is someone who has a degree in philosophy. Will be doing it with me. We have a song review tomorrow. Yay! We have a song review tomorrow, so we will be offering independent artists a way to get their music out there, get some streams. If you know somebody who makes music, it doesn't matter the genre, because I listen to everything, child. Y'all just don't understand. But if you know someone who makes music and you want them to have the opportunity to get promotion for their music without having to pay, to get some streams, to be added to public playlists on SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube, hit me up. It is always, always, always free to become a featured artist or to submit music on the song reviews. We accept songs constantly. Thursday, we will have a new song review added to our weekly lives. We're going to start doing music video song reviews so that we can watch the videos of artists. So if you want to send in your video, feel free to do so. Check the upcoming lives description Or you guys can also check out my IG where I post everything that you need to know. There's links for everything all in one place. Other than that, I will be back also on Wednesday to do recaps of Love and Hip Hop Miami because Atlanta's not coming on this week. And we will also be recapping with Watch Your Mouth Reviews on his channel, The Housewives of Salt Lake City. So there's something for everyone on my channel. I appreciate everybody for watching my little raggedy old self. I'm just trying to give my opinions on the show instead of hollering at the TV alone like a psychopath. I appreciate you guys for sharing your opinions. I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you subscribe or like the video or something. And I hope to see you all again next week. Goodbye, beautiful thugs. Go enjoy your Saturday. Go the fuck outside. Adios.